Welcome to our Wellness Hub, where you will find experts in the field of health, wellness, healing, and mindset. My name is Moni C. I am a creative mindset coach and your host today. Today we have an incredible guest. Her name is Yuan-Su. She's a transformational success coach, mindset trainer, and keynote speaker. Lynn, thank you for coming here today. Why don't we start by you telling us a bit about yourself, your story, and what was the turning point in your life that pushed you to start doing what you're doing today? The floor is yours.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Moni. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here. I was a registered dietitian, I say, in my past life. I went to school to study nutrition. I love food. That's a definition of who I am. I'm a foodie. I love good food and from different culture, different traditions. Following that passion, I have always been very curious about our human body is such an incredible machine. Following both passions, I went to university to study nutrition and sequentially became a registered dietitian. I worked in healthcare for 8 years. I loved what I studied. My academic journey was, challenging and I truly enjoyed it. Yet when I started working, I noticed from the very beginning, I noticed something, which was I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And I don't think I'm fulfilled. Literally, the first time I heard this, I was only not even 2 weeks into my full-time job as a dietitian. I haven't even seen my first paycheck yet. And my entire education cost literally my parents, bless them, all of their savings and money was expensive. So I immediately dismissed that idea. I thought, I cannot change. I'm a dietitian. I'm a dietitian for life because all the other dietitians are dietitians for life, which is not true, by the way, but that's what I thought. So fast forward 8 years later, this whole of I'm not doing the things I love. I'm not doing the things I believe is impactful to my own. That is a fit of who I am. And my turning point was I sit in my car, empty parking lot, being the first person there at my workplace and being promoted multiple times, have a very fancy title. And I had no clue what I was doing, still feeling so hollow inside of me. And I sit in my car, start to cry. And that was a moment where I realized, wow, something got to change. I didn't have a plan. I don't know what was my next step. But I knew something got to change because it was not right for me to cry in an empty parking lot. And when I made that decision, though, everything started to shift in the way that I would engage in conversations that were different before. I would be opening up for opportunities that I would never considered before I made this decision. My mindset shifted and I was being pushed in a very dark corner. So fast forward, through that bit of darkness in my life, I discovered mindset, the power of our thinking, the power of awareness, and how fun it is really when you live into your true potential, when you let go more and more of your fear, not letting fear control your life and stepping into this uncomfortable zone and to discover the richness, the true richness of life. That was over 80 years ago. So here I am doing what I love and continue to prioritize my life around my heart and realize what my heart is speaking and saying, telling me, guiding me. And life is great. I love my life.
That's wonderful. That's fantastic. So this is my question. Do you think that people are actually born with this mindset that at some point they're like, I'm going to make a change? Or do you develop it? Because some people are afraid of change. I think most people are, but we have, I include myself because I did something very similar. I shifted and I just jumped into the unknown because I was doing something that was making me feel empty inside. So we have very similar paths in that sense. Do you think that everybody can do that?
Everybody can. Not everybody may choose to do so. We all have fear, yet like you look at the most successful people, they all have fear at one point of their life or consistently. It's just they are willing to do something even while they're having fear. Do it afraid, as many people would say. And that's just the thing, is to do it afraid. And changes occurs in different stages, in different forms. Every single time we challenge our mind to do something different, fear will show up. The same story is we can have fear control our life. I had it control my life for 8 years. And we can eventually, when we realize this, that's why, as a mindset coach, that's why, you and I, we have such a privilege to support others, to guide them through this process of, it's okay, you can do it afraid. And I'm here to literally at times hold people's hands, and we can all do it. Everybody can do it.
Exactly. It's just being convinced that at the end, and we were talking about this when we first met, one of the biggest things is not having regrets. Because you're going to look back into your life and say, if I did this, if I did that. And I think that's one of the worst things to have, regrets. So when you have this desire inside or this discontent inside, you have to change something. And the sooner you do it, the better. And usually it comes from the mind, the way you're thinking. That's one of the main points. Do you think that your upbringing influenced the way that you approached life at the beginning? Or like when we are pushed to do certain things to discover, and you choose something that it's not necessarily what you want to do, and then you go all the way, and then you're like, I don't think this is what I want to do. But do you think it comes also from your upbringing?
Absolutely. We were talking right before I hop into our call here. I was in my other class and we're studying this particular book. I'm totally not affiliated with it, or this is a very well-known book, The Magic Power of Self-Image Psychology by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. And it's just psychology, it's human psychology, it's our upbringing, our childhood, whatever happened makes an impact in our thinking, our believing, in our mind. And from there, it just creates those patterns that are unconscious. We brush our teeth, probably very similar from the very first day how we learned to brush our teeth. My story, classic of this, my upbringing, I was born raised in China. Guess what? In China, you're being told to be a good student, to follow the rules, to obey. Chinese people are very obeying. I was a very obeying good student when I was sitting in my first year nutrition class. When the department chair walked in and teaching her lecture, one of her very first sentences, she said, if you're studying nutrition, you want to become a registered dietitian. I was an international student. English was my second language. I'm new to Canada. I've never heard the word dietitian before. I couldn't spell it. I couldn't even repeat it. But because she said it, the good student in me said, yes, ma'am, I will become whatever you just said. And that determined my academic journey. Thank goodness I loved it. I loved what I learned. I loved the journey. I didn't know what it feels like to work as a registered dietitian. But I was sure a good student. Why? Because of my upbringing.
Wow, you are a good student. But at the same time, you felt that path wasn't what you chose, the corporate path. Correct? You were in the corporate world. And because some people are in the corporate world, they're not necessarily happy and satisfied. But again, the fear of the unknown and the fact that, oh man, I would like to be an entrepreneur, but what if this? What if that? What do you think? I think you just cannot ask too many questions. You just have to do it, have a plan, and then go with it. Because the only failure is not trying. Do you agree with it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There has been, studies, sociological studies interviewing people who are literally at their deathbed. And most people, very rarely people say, I regret I did this. Most people regret I did not do whatever. I had an idea, overthinking, analyzing, especially for people who have great track record in their education as a student or become an employee, feels like more things to lose. Is to make a decision. And we make decisions for different reasons. Sometimes people make decisions because the decision were made for them. They got fired, they got laid off, whatever. Or people make a decision after a devastating life situation, a diagnosis of a sickness or a breakup of a relationship, a divorce, whatever. For me, it was my emotional breakdown in a empty car crying, which was so unusual for me. And yet that was my point, that I made that decision of no matter what, something got to change. And I think for you and I, we share our stories. The hope is for somebody, even just one person listening to this, if you have been wondering what to do, I don't like my job, I really want to start my own thing. You have an idea, make that decision to go for it. Just go and do it. And don't ever wait until you have a perfect plan. Yes, have a plan and be flexible as well. Plans are going to change.
Yeah, that's a good point. I started as a perfectionist just because I was copying my father, who was a perfectionist. And anything really gave me a lot of anxiety because it was not perfect. I was like, no, I cannot do this because I don't have all the steps. And one of the biggest shifts is to understand that unless you want to become a brain surgeon, or perfection really doesn't exist. You need to understand that you cannot have everything ready to take that step. You just take one, as you said, one tiny step, have a plan, and things will change as they go, and everything's going to be fine. And you will adapt. I think the word today is to adapt. You adapt. And so I think to have the flexibility in the brain to adapt. Now, you're a mindset trainer. What is a tip that you would like to give to our audience to shift their negative mindset to a positive one? There are many techniques, but one that you use.
The first thing is to notice what you're noticing. This is not coming from me. I learned this from my mentor, my coach. Her name is Mary Morrissey. And when at one point, this woman has been teaching and studying transformation mindset for 56 years coming up. And yet, when she was being interviewed on TV and she was being asked, what is the one tip you can give to people? And she picked this exact one. I very much resonate. Nothing can change if you don't notice, if you don't realize. Notice what you're noticing. Have the awareness of what you're thinking, how you're feeling. Notice is not about judging. Notice is just like, oh, I'm thinking about that. Oh, I'm feeling this way. That is a first step. That is truly the first step.
Absolutely. Awareness. And because you cannot change what you're not aware of. That's the very first step. So make sure that you think about your thinking. 95%, this number to me, every time I read it, I'm like, there's no way, but 95% of our thoughts are on autopilot. So everything we say, everything we think, everything we do is on autopilot, actually. So if your programming is not good, you're going to keep on repeating the same pattern. And if you want to change it, you got to go there. Now, is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience before we close?
Yeah, thank you. Right now we're going through a very interesting time, and regardless, we all have circumstance, situation, condition coming up at us, to us, and the key thing in life of living a happy life. At the end of the day, money is great, freedom is great, and it truly is how we feel and the impact we are making in our own life, in other people's lives, is when we mind our own mind. That's your goal. That's your goal. It doesn't matter what's happening outside of you. You always have control of what you're thinking, how you're reacting, responding to everything that's happening outside. And I truly believe, not just because, Moni is a coach, I'm also supporting other people in mindset training. I truly believe when you find somebody you resonate with and you work with them to get this bit done and done well, it's going to really fasten your journey to success.
That's wonderful. And I love mind your own mind. That's the best line. So Lynn, time flew by. We need to meet again. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your story, your experience. What are you doing today to help to make the world a better place? Because that's what we're doing. So don't stop. And we will definitely have you again here. Until next time, I send you a big ciao. And again, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. To be continued.
Yes, absolutely.